Hi students, welcome to the Illustrator Basics tutorial. So I'm just going to run you through in this one how to fill out these 6 panels within this Illustrator document that you can download off the tree. So let's have a look. So each of these, I've got them set up so that you can zoom in on them and and then you just basically follow what it says. So I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. Let me just zoom in here. So I'm just using my control plus and minus. So the first one we can see here is write your name in 4 different fonts. So I'm just going to grab my text tool from over here. You can see it labeled as a T. I'm going to click once and then I'm just going to write my name just like that. And then I'm going to copy that. So I'm going to just go Control C for copy, Control V, paste in a new one. I can pop it down below there, and then I can paste in another one. I can go like that, and then I'll paste in another one. Okay, so I've got my 4 names there ready to go. So I can select my text tool with the T, and I can just highlight the text, just draw across it. And then I can, from here, I can grab where it says Arial and I can start to change the fonts. So I can just go down through each of these. Oops. And I can go Control A to select all. And I'll select the next one. And I'll select the next one. And see what sort of different fonts that you've got around. And I'll select this next one. I'll scroll through my list a bit further. I'll look for something that maybe is a bit contrasting. Okay, so I've got my 4 fonts in there. That's good. Okay, so I can move on to the next one. So draw some horizontal and vertical lines. Use different stroke weights and create a dashed line. Okay, so up here, next to the type tool, we've got this line tool. And click once and drag it out. And you can see I can go wherever I want. But if I hold down my Shift key, you can see that what it does is it wants to draw either vertical, 45 degrees, or horizontal. So I'm going to draw in a horizontal line here. Now we can't really see anything yet, but this square with the hollow center is our stroke tool. So I'm just going to click on that and bring it to the front. Double click and it'll bring up our color. So I can select, say, a black for this. Oops, didn't apply it for some reason. Let's just go and we'll go OK. Oops. Not applying it for some reason. Let's select our direct selector tool. Now we'll change it. That's good. So yeah, I just needed to change up to grab this black selector tool when I had my line. That's good. So we're going to do some other lines so we can just draw them in. And you can see when I come down below, Illustrator wants to draw one in the same length, and you can see that it gets these inference lines off there. So up here, I can change the width of the stroke. So that's really handy. And we can copy things by holding down Alt or Option on a Mac, and you can drag it down like that. So that's a really good way to go. Instead of copy and pasting, yeah, you can drag it, and you can also go Control D or Apple D, and that will do a duplicate. Allow you to do that sort of thing. So I can go down through these strokes now, and I can change the width of my line work. Let's go down the other way. I'm going really thin. Let's do some vertical lines. So let's go down this way. So I'll start here somewhere, and if I hold down Shift again, that'll let me draw a vertical line, which you can see that I can easily change the width of that. So that's a good way to go. Right, so I'll pop another one in over here. And the last thing that we need to do is we need to create a dashed line. In order to create a dashed line, you might need to make sure that when we're using this, you're in Essentials Classic mode. That gives us the best kind of set of menus. And we can see here there's a tab with these 3 stripes. It's the stroke menu. So I'll click on that. And if you can't see it, there's a little thing up here which is high. You might have your options hidden like this. So you might just see weight 1 point. So let's see more options. So we'll go show options. And we can see here there's a few interesting things. We can round off the end of our stroke, which can be handy. There's a little thing here, dashed line. I'll turn that on and you can adjust how much space there is between your dashes in your lines. I'll change it to 6 point. You can see it's smaller. Yeah, so that's really handy. You can also add, if you want to, if you need them, you can add arrowheads to the ends of your lines as well. So there's actually quite a bit of customization you can do with those tools. You can see here, if I add round ends to my line, it gives me these nice big round ends. So that is the second panel done. And the next one we're dealing with shapes a little bit more. So these are our shapes over here. So you can see at the moment I've got a rounded rectangle. Let me grab, let's create a rectangle. Okay, so I drag it out. And it's remembered the last object that I used, which had that really big stroke on it. But let me just, I can hit this little swap here and it swaps that color onto the inside. So that is our fill color. I can double click on that and I'll change its color. That's good. And then I can hold this down. We've also got create a circle. So our circle is our ellipse tool. We can drag out our circle, and if we hold down shift, that'll keep it as a circle. So if we let go of shift, you can see that we can squash the circle, but I'll hold down shift and pull it out. Now we can see I made it the same color as my rectangle. Let's just change that color so that we can see what's going on there. That's good. So I've got a blue circle, and the last one is to create a star. So I'm going to hold this down again, and you can see down here we've got a star. And you can click once and it'll give us the radius 2, and you can select how many points you want on your star. So it's totally up to you. So I've got 8 points, go OK, and it's going to create a star for me. I'll just change it the color so we can see it a bit better. Okay, so now you can see that we've got our shapes set up there. So let's move down to our next panel. We've got use the Pathfinder tool to break apart some overlapping shapes. Okay, so just like we did before, I might draw a star, so I can drag one out. And I might grab, it doesn't matter what you grab here, I'll grab a rectangle. I'll go through this. I'll just make sure this is a different color. Okay, now what the Pathfinder tool does is it allows us to, where shapes overlap, you can break them apart or remove things. So let's just have a quick look here. So I'll go up to Windows and I'll just come down to Pathfinder. Here we are. I'll just bring it up. Here it is. Okay, so this panel, we can weld shapes together like this, so we can see that it's welded them into one big one. Let me just go Control Z and undo that. This one is really handy. This is the minus front. So anything that's overlapping over the front, it will chop it out. And there's also this good one down here called divide. They're all kind of fairly well named, and you just experiment with them to try it out. But I'll do the divide, and what divide does is that wherever the lines overlap, it creates a piece, a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. When you go to move this, you can see that it's still all stuck together. So you actually have to do a little trick with this one. You have to come up here and go Object Expand. So we'll go Object Expand. We do that once, and then we've got to ungroup the object. So we go Control Shift G, do that twice, and that is your ungroup command. You can see now I can pull these apart. So I've got separate bits that I've created. And so that's all you got to do. You might like to, color them in different colors just to get used to using that that color palette and bringing it up. But that's our fourth panel. Let's have a look. So import an image from the web. So go and download yourself an image, and then once you've got one, you can basically just, if you want to, you can just drag it in and place it over the top. Now, this often happens in Illustrator, is you drag in an image and you find out that it's massive. So if that happens to you, that is okay. So I'm going to rescale it. I'm going to hold down Shift to scale it down so that I don't squash it. There's nothing worse than squashing images. Try and avoid that. So there we go. We've dragged it in. If you want to use a dialog box, you can also go Place, which is down here under File. So File, Place, and that'll let you select a file somewhere within your computer. So that can be an easy way to go as well. So we've got an image in, that's good. Now the last thing we're going to do here is trace an image using the image trace tool. Okay, so I'm going to bring in an image again. So I'll bring in a different image. Just doing the drag and drop. Illustrator is quite particular about what files it will use. So yeah, some kinds of weird files that may not be able to bring in. So now I'm going to zoom in on that, and I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to look for our image trace tool. So it's under I for image trace. Here's our tool. Okay, so this is a really fun tool. So what I'm going to do, I've got my photo selected, and I click on Preview, and we can see here I've got this set on black and white. And as I change my threshold, you can see that it changes how it's tracing the image. So it's looking a bit like a paper cutout or something. So that's a good one. And under here, we've also got a few other ones. We've got the color setup, and we can decide on, we'll just let it do its trace. We can decide on how many colors we might like it to do. So we could pull it, say, back to 6, and it'll just use a few colors. We can pull it back to 3, and it'll only use 3 colors. Pretty much it decides on which ones that it wants to do. And if we come down here under Advanced, you can see we've got some extra controls that allow us to change, how it filters noise, whether it has corners or it keeps things flowing, flowing smooth corners and rounded corners, things like that. So there's actually quite a bit of stuff there. And if we look under this, this often tells us the kind of the type of image that we're going from. So a high fidelity photo will use a lot of colors. It'll be looking for colors, and then silhouettes and line art, we'll be going down to really kind of quite abstracted forms. The bigger the image, the longer it can take to do this. So let's go down to, say, 6 colors. We'll let it do that. Okay, so it's traced it out. Now, at the moment, this is still an image, but if we go, like we did earlier, if we go to Object, Expand, click on Expand, and we'll go, let's expand Object and Fill, and we'll go, yep, okay. And what we can do then is, just like we did with that pathfinding, we can go Shift Control or Shift Apple, and then G twice for ungroup. So Shift Command G is ungroup. Why you've got to do it twice, I'm not really sure. But you'll find that this is actually made up of component parts now, and you can actually sort of start to, if you wanted to, you can pull this apart because it's made up of now it's made of line work, whereas before it was just a a photograph. So if we zoom in on this in Illustrator, you'll see that, yeah, these are all like vector curves now, which means that they don't lose their resolution. Okay, so that is all 6 panels. So good luck with that and give it a go.